Imagine waking up one day to find your car, your trusty steed, reduced to a mere hunk of metal. A world where the familiar hum of engines is replaced by eerie silence, the convenience of hopping in your car to drive to work, the grocery store, or to pick up your kids from school vanished, just like that. This could be our reality in the wake of an EMP attack, a grid-down situation, a severe fuel shortage, or widespread mechanical failures. Let's take a moment to consider the magnitude of such an event. Picture the chaos when millions of vehicles become stationary roadblocks. Highways transformed into vast parking lots, city streets clogged with abandoned cars. The world as we know it brought to a standstill, not by an alien invasion or a zombie apocalypse, but by the simple absence of functioning vehicles. And it wouldn't just be about the inconvenience of getting from point A to point B. The ripple effects would be far-reaching. The transportation of goods, including food and medical supplies, would be severely disrupted. Emergency services would be crippled. The economy would take a massive hit. But why are we talking about this? Is it to instill fear? No, quite the contrary. We bring up these scenarios to highlight the importance of preparation. The more we understand about the potential challenges we could face, the better equipped we are to handle them. It's about being proactive, not reactive. In our upcoming segments, we'll delve into alternative methods of transportation, the gear and skills you'd need, how to stay safe while on the move, planning escape routes, the dynamics of travel communities, and we'll even take a few cues from history. Preparing for life without vehicles starts with understanding the reality of these scenarios. It's about acknowledging that our everyday conveniences aren't invincible, and that we must equip ourselves with the knowledge and skills to navigate a world where the roar of engines may be but a distant memory. So, what happens when the engine falls silent? It's time to explore alternative transportation methods. When fuel becomes a scarce resource and our modern vehicles turn into immovable roadblocks, we need to get creative. Let's start with bicycles. Fast, quiet, and easily repairable, bicycles could become the go-to method for short to medium distance travel. But they're not without their drawbacks. They're vulnerable to theft and damage, and their use is limited by terrain and weather conditions. Next, we have animal transportation. Horses, mules, even dogs can be trained to carry loads and traverse long distances. They're excellent for navigating rough terrain and can be a lifesaver when you need to transport heavy supplies. However, they require advanced preparation. You'll need to know how to care for these animals, and you'll need access to them when SHTF. Homemade vehicles like carts and wagons provide another option. These can be essential for transporting supplies and vulnerable family members efficiently over relatively flat terrain. The downsides? You'll need the skills and materials to build them, and they can be physically demanding to use. Finally, there's watercraft. Canoes and kayaks are ideal for discreet movement along waterways, allowing you to avoid congested or dangerous roads. But remember, water travel presents its own set of challenges, and you'll need to be adept at navigation and water safety. Each method has its merits and drawbacks, so it's crucial to consider your needs and environment. Are you located in a city or out in the countryside? Will you be traveling alone or with a group? How much supplies will you need to carry? What kind of terrain will you be crossing? Answering these questions will help you determine which methods are best suited to your situation. And remember, the key to successful prepping is adaptability. You might find that a combination of these methods works best for you. So, when the roads fall silent, you don't have to. With these alternative transportation methods, you can stay mobile, stay safe, and survive. Now that we've explored alternative transportation methods, what gear and skills should you prioritize? The answer lies in the balance between practicality and survival. Let's start with the essentials. Durable footwear is a must. You're going to be on your feet a lot, so investing in quality, comfortable boots is a no-brainer. They should be waterproof, offer good ankle support, and preferably have a reinforced toe for added protection. Next, consider portable shelters. A good quality tent or hammock is lightweight, easy to set up, and provides protection from the elements. It's your portable home away from home. Pair this with a compact sleeping bag designed for varying weather conditions, and you've got yourself a mobile bedroom. But what about navigation? If you're traveling without a vehicle, knowing where you're going and how to get there is crucial. Classic tools like a compass and a physical map are reliable, don't require batteries, and can be lifesavers when digital options fail. Don't forget to waterproof your maps or store them in a waterproof container. Now, on to skills. Map reading and compass navigation are fundamental. They might seem old school, but these skills could mean the difference between getting lost and reaching your destination. And don't forget about tracking. The ability to read signs of human or animal activity can help you avoid danger or find resources. Understanding natural landmarks is another invaluable skill. These are features in the landscape that can help orient you in your surroundings. Rivers, mountains, distinct trees, or rock formations can all serve as natural guides. Lastly, consider learning basic mechanical skills. Even if you're not using a car, bicycles, carts, and other homemade vehicles can break down. Knowing how to perform basic repairs can keep you mobile and save you a lot of trouble. Having the right gear and skills can make all the difference when navigating life without vehicles. Remember, preparation is not about predicting the future, it's about being ready for whatever it throws at you. Moving without vehicles also means being more exposed. How can you ensure your safety? Well, it's all about strategy and foresight. When you're on foot, on horseback, or even paddling down a river, you're more vulnerable to threats. You're not encased in a ton of steel, and you're not moving at 60 miles per hour. You're out there in the open, and that means you need to be smart about how you move. First off, let's talk about evasion. This isn't about being sneaky or underhanded, it's about survival. If there's a potential threat, your first goal should be to avoid it. This might mean taking a longer route or waiting until darkness falls to move. It's not always about the fastest route, but the safest. Next up, let's discuss camouflage. No, you don't need to paint your face green and brown, although in some situations that might not be a bad idea. Camouflage is about blending in with your surroundings, whether that's a cityscape or a forest. Dress appropriately, move quietly, and try to avoid drawing unnecessary attention. Now, let's talk about navigation. Moving through populated areas can be risky, but sometimes it's unavoidable. The key here is to stay alert, keep your head on a swivel, and have an exit strategy. Know your routes, know your landmarks, and always have a plan B. Finally, let's touch on risk assessment. Part of moving without becoming a target means understanding what the risks are. Is there a group of potentially hostile individuals up ahead? Is that seemingly quiet town actually a hotbed of activity? Always be assessing, always be evaluating, and never let your guard down. Remember, your safety is paramount. Always be vigilant and prepared. When you're moving without vehicles, you're not just a traveler, you're a target. But by staying smart, staying alert, and staying prepared, you can ensure that you're not an easy one. Knowing where to go is just as important as knowing how to get there. Let's talk about planning escape routes. In a world without vehicles, your journey will be dictated by the lay of the land, the resources available, and potential threats along the way. So, how do we navigate this new world? By going old school and mapping out our escape routes, start by considering the terrain. Mountains, rivers, forests, and urban areas all present different challenges and opportunities. Mountains and rivers can be natural barriers providing protection, but also hindering progress. Forests offer resources and cover, but may also harbor unseen dangers. Urban areas, while potentially rich in scavenged resources, could be hotbeds of conflict and danger. Next, consider natural barriers. These could be anything from large bodies of water to deep canyons or dense forests. While they may seem daunting, they can also serve as natural defense mechanisms, discouraging pursuers and providing a measure of security. But what about resources? Water, food, shelter, these are the three pillars of survival. When planning your route, try to include places where these resources are likely to be found. Rivers and lakes for water, forests and fields for food, caves and abandoned structures for shelter. Always have a plan for where your next meal and safe night's sleep will come from. Then there's the matter of threat levels. In a post-SHTF world, danger can come from many quarters. Other survivors, wildlife, environmental hazards, all must be taken into account when plotting your route. Always aim to avoid conflict and danger whenever possible. And finally, always have multiple routes. If one path is blocked or becomes too dangerous, you'll need to have a plan B, C, and maybe even D. The more options you have, the better your chances of survival. Planning ahead can give you a crucial advantage when the time comes to move. So grab a map, a compass, and start plotting your escape routes now. Remember, in a world without vehicles, your journey is all about strategic movement and survival. In times of crisis, there's strength in numbers. Let's explore the benefits and challenges of traveling in groups. Solo travel might seem like the obvious choice in a crisis situation. There's the allure of freedom, of not having to coordinate with anyone, and the ability to make decisions quickly. But is it always the safest, most practical option? Not necessarily. When the world is in chaos, There's a lot to be said for the security and support that a well-coordinated group can provide. Imagine navigating treacherous terrain, scavenging for resources, or facing potential threats. Wouldn't it be comforting to know you're not alone, that there are others watching your back, sharing your load, contributing their skills? Traveling in groups, however, isn't without its challenges. It requires cooperation, coordination, and a shared sense of purpose. Division of responsibilities becomes paramount. Who's in charge of navigation? Who's the medic? Who's keeping watch while others rest? These roles need to be clearly defined, and everyone should be comfortable with their duties. Decision-making is another critical aspect. When you're alone, you make the calls. In a group, it's a collective effort. It's crucial to establish a decision-making process early on. Will it be a majority vote, or does the group leader have the final say? Whatever the method, it needs to be agreed upon to avoid conflict down the line. Traveling in groups also requires a certain level of social dynamics. It's not just about surviving the crisis, but also about maintaining harmony within the group. Respect for each other, understanding, patience, and clear communication. These are the cornerstones of a successful travel community. So, while the thought of going it alone may seem appealing, consider the benefits of banding together. A well-prepared, well-coordinated group can not only increase your chances of survival but also make the journey more bearable. While traveling alone has its advantages, a well-coordinated group can provide much-needed support and security. History offers valuable lessons on surviving without modern conveniences. Let's delve into the past. Long before the arrival of cars, our ancestors traveled great distances on foot, by horse, or even by boat. They navigated using the stars, creating maps from memory, and identifying landmarks. These skills allowed them to move across continents, find resources, and avoid danger. Consider the indigenous tribes of the Americas who developed intricate trail systems, or the Polynesians who navigated vast oceans without compasses or maps. Their survival required an intimate understanding of their environment and a deep respect for the unpredictability of nature. These historical examples underscore the importance of adaptability, resourcefulness, and resilience. They remind us that survival isn't just about hardware, it's about mindset. It's about understanding our surroundings, making the most of what we have, and always being ready to learn and adapt. History often repeats itself. By learning from the past, we can better prepare for the future.